Hi guys, my name is Camille. This is my second video and I have to say this one's way more nerve-wracking than the first. It's so scary to create content for you guys. I don't want you guys to think I'm boring or stupid or silly. It's hard to be vulnerable. But first and foremost, I really want to thank you guys so much for the outpour of support I got from my last video. My video I think got like 1,200 views, which I know isn't a lot in the YouTube world, but it just felt super fucking good to get messages from everyone all day and support. I was actually watching this Post Malone video and he was explaining the day he made it, I guess. He moved out to LA and he was super broke, and he was making all these songs on SoundCloud and stuff. So he had this one song he said that was kind of like in the back of his discography that he knew was gonna be his make it song. So he waited and then he was super flat broke. He had nothing to lose and he had to put something out. He had to put himself out there. He put out the song and then went to sleep that night, and he woke up to a billion texts, a billion tweets. He said that he went to his computer and it was like the perfect make it montage, you know, like metaphorical confetti came out of the computer, and that's how I felt after I got 1,200 views on my video. But really, I felt so loved. It was really cool. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So my hair tonight is by Diana Rose Serna, DRS Color Studio on Instagram. She's so amazing. We've got 3 braids and a little ponytail. So one of the things that I'm gonna start doing in my videos is kind of have a format for you guys to follow. So I'm always gonna do an intro and recap and that sort of thing at the beginning. And I'm also gonna start doing product features. And they're either gonna be products that I'm using or books I'm reading or something I tried and I liked. I have 2 feature products today, and one of them is the Fenty blotting powder. It's really cool. It's translucent. It's actually almost like a blurring powder. In my opinion, it makes you look kind of airbrushed. So if you've never used a setting powder before, I think it's really important that you start using it. I feel that it makes such a difference in your overall finished look. It's so embarrassing when you like go for a hug with someone and then your makeup just smears all the fuck over their outfit, or it's just all over your phone all the time. A setting powder definitely helps with that. If you don't know what finishing powder is, or if you've never used finishing powder, I would greatly recommend this one. It's super low maintenance. You don't have to do anything weird with a beauty blender or dampening or anything like that. I literally just get a brush and throw it on. It's super easy. The second product I'm going to talk about isn't a beauty product, but instead a book. It is called, it's for all my moms out there, it's called Baby Sleep Trainer Way, and it is by a woman named Natalie. She is up and coming in the sleep trainer world. I think one of the hardest things about being a mom is that you have so many questions. There's not an instruction manual, and especially when I sleep trained, I used the Ferber book, which was super helpful. However, I had so many questions that he didn't answer in the book. This one's really awesome. It talks about nap times, early wakings, what to expect from your baby, and I just think it's really cool that she's incorporating different ways to approach her clients. Everything that she does is virtual on her website, and all of her programs include email support. She's really easy to talk to and just a super cool person. She actually does question and answers on her Facebook, so if you have a question about your baby's sleep or something that you're doing with them, she'll answer it live for you. So you should check it out if that's something you're struggling with, or if you know someone struggling with it. So we're nearing the end of 2017. Holy shit. This year was crazy for me. I had a baby. He's really awesome. He just turned 7 months today, and it's been a roller coaster, but a good one, like fun roller coaster. He makes me laugh every day. actual birth process, not fucking cool. I had this whole plan for what I was gonna do for a holiday video. And then my son decided to throw my camera off the counter and it broke my lens. So I had to buy a new lens. So I'm kind of switching it up, and I'm gonna do a video on New Year's resolutions, which sounds super cheesy, but I swear to God, it's not gonna be. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed whenever I speak to someone is that I really think people get confused with goals versus resolutions. So when you Google what resolution means, duh, everyone knows what it means. It's to solve a problem. So oftentimes people come up with resolutions that are goals. One of the most used New Year's goal is weight loss. Duh. Everyone wants to lose weight. Everyone wants to be healthy. Everyone wants to look good. No one wants to get on the scale and feel like shit. No one wants to look in the mirror and feel like shit. I get it. Weight loss totally makes sense. However, oftentimes that's not the problem. The problem is not the weight. So we identify these inanimate objects as the problem in our lives. And while it makes sense and it's easier to deal with your problems that way, that's really not what it is. I'm gonna give probably the best example for you to kind of understand what I'm saying, because I think it can be kind of confusing or kind of like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? I think weight loss is always a goal of mine, no matter how skinny I am. I suffer from body dysmorphia, and I oftentimes suffer from eating disorders depending on what's going on in my life. I'm a binge eater. I fucking love food. I think food's amazing. I love cheese. I love dairy. I love sugar. I love desserts. So usually the problem isn't that I need to lose weight. That's not the problem. The problem is that when I'm eating, I'm typically self-loathing. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel terrible. I'm gonna go eat. Or I'm just not present. I'm just paying attention to how it tastes going in my mouth. It's almost like a cathartic experience I have when I'm eating. It's like the most incredible feeling ever. If I really worked in those moments to stay present, I more than likely would avoid overeating. I would avoid being bloated. I would avoid eating things that I don't even really want to eat, that I just want to taste. So that brings me to my first New Year's resolution that I think everyone should have, and that's to stay present. Whether that means to stay present when you're working and not be on Facebook, to stay present when you're with your kids and not be on your phone, that's me. To stay present when you're driving and not text. To stay present when you're at a concert and not fucking film it the whole time. But when I say that, I don't think it's an easy practice. And I say practice because I do think it's a skill to stay present. One of my favorite skills that I learned in DBT was called observe and describe. And I've used it multiple times when I'm in a panic attack, or even just when I'm driving and I find myself not even thinking about driving. It's essentially looking around where you're at and describing to yourself the surroundings. So right now I'm looking at my camera. It's black. It has white lettering. The lens is E 3.5 to 5.6/PZ. I mean, like literally like describing where you're at to get you back into the moment and refocus. And it sounds so stupid, but if you keep doing it, you'll find that your year will be so much more enjoyable. And like I said, it takes practice. You're not just gonna wake up tomorrow and say, I'm gonna be more present in my life and really just like enjoy every moment. That's not how it works. But like I said, with all of these skills, and I really do call them skills because they're not easy to do, with all these skills, you'll have a happier, richer, more wonderful year than you did last year. The next skill I'm gonna talk about is something that I think we all have a hard time with. I feel like, especially if you're on Twitter, this is like gonna speak to you because I think all we do on Twitter is like complain about our lives and self-loathe and tell everyone how shitty they are and subtweet and talk shit. Or just generally speaking, I think if you're a human being, I don't think anyone practices this skill enough. This shit is hard. That practicing gratefulness is super, super difficult, especially if you're prone to just like being a complainer or looking at the bad parts of life, which if you are, you're probably gonna be like, okay, this bitch is crazy. My sister and I decided that we were gonna start emailing each other lists at the end of each day and say like 10 things we were grateful at. That bitch fucking, whew, she won that shit. If that was a competition, she did amazing. I came in like extra last, like 50th place, and there was only 2 of us. I sucked at doing those lists. So what I started doing instead that worked for me is, as a huge partier, I was a huge partier at the time, and so whenever I was with friends, like at dinner or getting drinks, or even just on the way to the club, or even like after the club when we're getting last call, I'd be like, okay guys, so like what's your 5 favorite things of today? What are 5 things you're most grateful for? And everyone would think I was so cheesy, but then we started doing it, and it like became a fun thing to do. It makes people happy, and it's like, you wanna make that the theme of your 2018. Like, practicing gratefulness combats depression, it combats addiction, it combats anxiety, and the biggest thing for me is it really combats negative thinking or self-loathing. So the next skill I'm going to talk about is, it wasn't like really a New Year's resolution of mine, but I was kind of going through a really hard time in my life. I had just broken up with my boyfriend at the time. We were together for like 4 years, and I really didn't have a life besides him. So when we broke up, I had such a hard time. I just remember feeling this overwhelming feeling of not wanting to be alone, and not wanting to do anything alone, really. But I really didn't even want to spend time with myself. I didn't even like myself at the time. I watched a YouTube video, ironically enough. The girl basically mapped out all these things that you can do to practice being alone. And I made it my goal. I made it my goal to be comfortable being alone and spending time alone and sleeping in my own bed alone and not being with friends every second of the day, or not just making plans with someone just because I don't want to be alone, like really making plans with someone because I authentically wanted to spend time with them, or, you know, just getting comfortable with me. I remember at that time period, I would even invite people over and say, hey, do you want to hang out with me while I clean my apartment? Like, I couldn't even do like the most minimal tasks alone. Like, it was so scary to me to be alone. If anyone can try to master that skill, I think it'd be such an accomplishment. It was really, really difficult for me, but it was extremely life-changing. So when I gave birth to my son, Sir, I had an extremely traumatic birth experience and a traumatic pregnancy. I struggled so badly with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. Just felt like my anxiety was so bad that I felt like I could not control my thoughts. I felt like it was just like spiraling out of control constantly. I felt like I could never even concentrate on people talking to me. I wasn't enjoying my time with my baby, and I didn't feel bonded to him at first, and at the same time I was so terrified I was going to do something wrong, and I felt like everything I did was wrong. I didn't trust myself, and I was scared my baby didn't love me, and was even embarrassed that I was having these thoughts. I was so scared to leave the house. You know, I was so scared that if we left the house, then something was gonna happen to him and he was gonna die. But one of the biggest things that helped me during that time period was being transparent with my husband, Cash. Gosh, like, it's so hard to even describe how transparent I was. I was probably way more transparent than people feel comfortable being transparent with their partner. I think really being honest in those moments and telling my husband how I was feeling really got me through that time period. I think if you can incorporate honesty throughout your year, it would greatly benefit your quality of life and your relationships. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't a super bore, and I hope I inspired some of your resolutions this year. Anyways, please subscribe. I'd love it. yeah, I hope you guys have a good holiday. I hope you guys have a good Christmas. Happy New Year.